Holy smokes, guys, I've got some great news for you. So before I left school the other day, I snagged my copy of Auggie and Me and brought it home with me. I know some of you have just loved Wonder. And what I've done is I've brought this home with the intention of reading to you. So this is going to be our read aloud for the next few weeks, I guess. And no matter where we are, whether we're at school or whether we are at home, I'm going to enjoy this with you, okay? So you're going to want to get into a very comfortable position and just make sure you're using all the strategies that we've done, making sure that you're visualizing as I read through, making connections. And, if you have any questions or anything, you are more than welcome to send a message and we can probably post them in our stream. So I hope that you enjoy Auggie and Me. It's going to be 3 wonder stories, and I will read for you the inside portion right now. And then when I do read it out loud, I am going to put the phone down because we don't need video. You just need my voice. But I'm going to read this to you right now, okay? And then we will get started. So let me put this down. It does say, millions of readers have fallen in love with Auggie Pullman, an ordinary boy with an extraordinary face. Wonder tells his story from 6 different perspectives, but there were some characters whose unique perspectives were not shared until now. The Julian chapter gives readers a chance to hear from Wonder's most controversial character. From the very first day Auggie and Julian met, it was clear they were never going to be friends. This story finally reveals the bully side of the story. Why is Julian so unkind to Auggie? And does he have a chance for redemption? Pluto offers a peek at Augie's life before Wonder. Christopher and Auggie were best friends from the time they were babies until Christopher's family moved away. He was there for all of Augie's earliest memories, from surgeries to Star Wars marathons. Pluto is a story of 2 boys who have grown apart but are learning that good friendships are worth a little extra effort. Shingling shines new light on life as a 5th grader at Beecher Prep, as seen from the perspective of Charlotte, the girl chosen to be Augie's welcome buddy. Readers will learn more about Charlotte and her budding friendship with reader favorite Summer, and how the girls at Beecher Prep react to Auggie attending their school for the first time, and how Charlotte came to write the precept that she used at the end of Wonder. It's not enough to be friendly. You have to be a friend. This collection is a special treasury for readers eager to spend more time in Augie's world. So I am going to read a little to you now. I'm opening it up. And I'll get started with the introduction. Is there going to be a sequel to Wonder? Someone in the audience asks. No, I'm sorry, I answer a little embarrassed. I don't think it's the kind of book that really lends itself to a sequel. I like to think that fans of Wonder will imagine for themselves what will happen next to Auggie Pullman and all the other people in his world. That exchange, or something like it, has happened at just about every book signing, speaking engagement, or reading that I've done since Wonder came out on February 14th, 2012. It's probably the question I get asked the most, aside from, will there be a movie of Wonder, and what inspired you to write Wonder? Yet, here I am, writing an introduction to a book that is, for all intents and purposes, a companion to Wonder. So, how exactly did that happen? To answer that question, I have to discuss Wonder just a little bit. If you bought this book, or been given it as a gift, there's a good chance you've read Wonder already, so I don't need to tell you too much about that. Suffice it to say that Wonder is the story of a 10-year-old boy named Auggie Pullman who was born with a craniofacial difference as he navigates the ups and downs of being the new kid at Beecher Prep Middle School. We see this journey through his eyes and the eyes of several characters whose lives happen to intersect with his over the course of that pivotal year, and whose insights enhance the reader's understanding of Augie's passage to self-acceptance. We don't hear from any characters whose stories don't directly expand on Augie's story within the time frame of that 5th grade year, or whose understanding of Auggie is too limited to shed light upon his character. Wonder is Augie's story, after all, from beginning to end, and I was very strict with myself about telling his story in a simple and linear way. If a character didn't propel the narrative forward, or told a story that ran parallel to or before or after the events in Wonder, then he or she didn't get a voice in the book. That's not to say that some of these other characters didn't have interesting stories to tell, however, stories that might have explained their own motivations a bit, even if those revelations didn't directly affect Auggie. Which is exactly where this book comes in. To be clear, Auggie and Me is not a sequel. It doesn't pick up where Wonder left off. It doesn't continue to tell the story of Auggie Pullman navigating middle school. In fact, Auggie is only a minor character in these stories. What this book is, precisely, is an expansion of Augie's world. The 3 stories in Auggie and Me, the Julian chapter, Pluto, and Shingling, all originally published as short ebooks, and they're all told from the perspectives of Julian, Christopher, and Charlotte respectively. They are 3 completely different narratives, telling the stories of characters who only occasionally, if at all, appear in each other's stories. They all do have one thing in common, though, which is Auggie Pullman. His presence in their lives serves as the catalyst by which they're each transformed in subtle and not so subtle ways. Auggie and Me is also not a sequel in a traditional sense because there's no continuation of Augie's story other than a brief fast forward in Julian's chapter to the summer after 5th grade, which provides a nice coda to the Julian-Auggie storyline. But other than that, readers don't find out what happens to Auggie Pullman in the 6th grade, or in high school or beyond. I can guarantee that book, the de facto sequel, will never be written. And that's a good thing, folks. One of the most beautiful byproducts of writing Wonder is the amazing fan fiction it has generated. Teachers are using it in classrooms, asking students to get into character and write their own chapters in Auggie or Summer or Jack. I've read stories devoted to Via, Justin, and Miranda, chapters written from Amos's point of view and Miles's and Henry's. I've even read one child's very poignant short chapter from Daisy's point of view. But perhaps the most touching story writing I've ever had has been about Auggie, with whom readers seem to have a passionate sense of involvement. I've had kids tell me they know for sure that Auggie will grow up to be an astronaut, or a teacher, or a veterinarian. They tell me these things with great, almost empirical authority, by the way. No dilly-dallying, no guesswork. So why am I to disagree with them? And why would I write a sequel that would limit all those options? Auggie, as far as I'm concerned, has a bright and amazing future full of infinite possibilities, each one as lofty as the next. I am truly blessed that the readers of Wonder feel close enough to him to envision for themselves how his life will go. I know they will understand that just because I chose to end Wonder on a happy day in Auggie's life, it doesn't guarantee him a happy life. He will surely face more than his fair share of challenges as he grows older, with new ups and downs, new friends, other Julians and Jacks, and of course Summers. Readers will hopefully intuit from how Auggie has handled himself over the course of his first year at Beecher Prep, with all its accompanying trials and tribulations, that he has what he needs inside of him to triumph over whatever life hurls his way, withstand the challenges as they come, stare down the starers or laugh them away. There with him always, through good times and bad, will be his amazing family, Isabel and Nate and Via. The only thing that I know that truly heals people is unconditional love, wrote Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, which may be why Auggie will never succumb to any wounds inflicted by those careless words of a passerby or the choices of his friends. Those he has, friends both known and unseen, will stand up for him when it counts the most. In the end, readers of Wonder know that the book has never really been about what happens to Auggie Pullman. It's about how Auggie Pullman happens to the world. Which brings me back to this book, or more accurately, the 3 stories contained in Auggie Me. When it was first suggested to me that I write these short ebooks, these Wonder stories, I jumped at the chance. Most specifically on behalf of Julian, who had become a much loathed persona among Wonder fans. Keep calm and don't be a Julian is even something you can Google now, as people have taken it upon themselves to make their own cautionary posters. Say, look at that. And I completely get why Julian is so disliked. Until now, we've only seen him through the eyes of Auggie, Jack, Summer, and Justin. He's rude, he's mean. His stares, his nicknames for August, his efforts to manipulate his classmates to turn against Jack are tantamount to bullying. But what's at the root of all this rage against Auggie? What's up with Julian, and why is he such a jerk? Even as I was writing Wonder, I knew that Julian had a story to tell. I also knew that his story of bullying, or why he bullies, was of little consequence to Auggie, and it did not have impact on the storyline, and therefore didn't belong in Wonder. It's not for the victims of bullying to find compassion for their tormentors, after all. But I love the idea of exploring Julian's character in a short book of his own. Not to exonerate his actions, since his actions in Wonder are reprehensible and indefensible, but try to understand him better. It's important to remember that Julian is still just a little kid. He's acted badly, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad kid. Our mistakes don't define us. The hard part is coming to terms with our mistakes. Will Julian redeem himself? Can he? Does he want to? These are the questions I ask and answer in the Julian chapter, even as I shed some light on why Julian behaves toward Auggie the way he does. The second short book in Auggie Me is Pluto, told from the point of view of Auggie's oldest friend Christopher, who moved away several years before the events of Wonder take place. Pluto is a unique look into Auggie's life before Beecher Prep. Christopher was there with Auggie through his early hardships and heartbreaks, the horrific surgeries, the day Nate Pullman brought Daisy home for the first time, the old neighborhood friends who seemed to vanish from Auggie's life. Now that he's older, Christopher struggles with the challenges of staying friends with Auggie, the stares, the awkward reactions of new friends. It's tempting to walk away from a friendship when it becomes difficult, even under the best circumstances. And Auggie's not the only one who is testing Christopher's loyalty. Will he hang on or let go? The third short book is Shingling, and told from the point of view of Charlotte, the only girl chosen by Mr. Tushman to be one of Auggie's welcome buddies. Throughout Wonder, Charlotte maintains a friendly, if somewhat distant relationship with Auggie. She waves hello when she sees him. She never sides with the kids who are mean to him. She tries to help Jack, even if it's in secret so no one else knows. She's a nice girl, no doubt about that. But she never goes out of her way to be more than nice. Shingling delves into the life of Charlotte Cody during 5th grade at Beecher Prep, and readers learn that there was a lot of other stuff going on that year, about which Auggie Pullman didn't know. Dance performances, mean girls, old allegiances, and new cliques. Maya, Yamina, Savannah, and especially Summer feature prominently in Shingling, which, like Pluto in the Julian chapter, explores the life of an ordinary kid who is touched by an extraordinary circumstance. Whether it's about Auggie or Julian, Chris, Auggie and Charlotte, the 3 stories in Auggie and Me examine the complexities of friendship, loyalty, and compassion, and most especially explore the enduring effects of kindness. Much has been written about middle school and the preteen years, and how it's a time in kids' life when they are almost expected to be unkind to one another as they navigate their way through the new social situations on their own, often without parental oversight. But I've seen a different side to kids, a tendency toward nobility and a yearning to do right. I believe in children and their limitless capacity to care and to love and to want to save the world. I have no doubt that they will lead us to a place of greater tolerance and acceptance for all the birds in the universe, for all the underdogs and misfits, and for Auggie and me. Kids, tomorrow I am going to start the Julian chapter, and maybe we can finally start to understand what was going on in his brain and why he acted the way that he did in wonder. So I hope you enjoyed this read aloud, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.